Good evening, welcome. We're going to begin now the press conference. Please have in mind that we do one question per intervention. Buenas tardes, comenzamos la rueda de prensa. Recuerden, una pregunta por intervención y antes de identificarse con su nombre y el del medio.
Hola Jude, Victorio Calero en directo para Real Madrid Televisión. Mañana se juega el que debería ser un clásico en Europa, Liverpool-Real Madrid. ¿Consideras al Liverpool en estos momentos uno de los equipos más en forma?
Yeah, I think that's clear, good evening everyone for a start. I think that's clear. Obviously they're top of the league in England and I think top of the Champions League standings at the minute as well, so I think it's clear to see how good of a team they are. They've got players who have kind of come to a new level, some of the younger lads and then the more experienced lads who have been world class for a long time, so it'll be a great test but a great game and still confident.
Buenas tardes, Jude. Aquí Sergio López para el AS. ¿Qué le diría a Bellingham a quienes estos días están diciendo que Real Madrid, con las bajas con las que llega,
Real Madrid with all their injuries, they're going to be conceding quite a few goals and struggling tomorrow because of all the injuries and players out?
Yeah, that's what you guys might be saying inside our dressing room, inside our bus, everything. We're confident, we've had injuries before and we've managed to pull through, I have complete trust and complete faith in the squad that we have. All the players can make an impact, whether it's from the starting 11 or from the bench, and historically whenever players have had to come in they've always performed really well, so no worries about that whatsoever.
Hola Jude, Darío Araujo para Caliente TV.
Perdona, yo voy dando el turno, ¿vale? Vamos con Martín, OK Diario.
¿Qué tal, Jude? Iván Martín de OK Diario. El otro día en el Leganés se dio tu mejor partido de la temporada. Jugaste en una posición un poquito más como el año pasado. Te quería preguntar si te sientes más cómodo en esa zona del campo, no tan pegado a la banda como has jugado en algún momento en este curso.
Out wide. Did you feel more comfy against Leganés?
Yeah, I think it was a good game. I think I played well. Obviously, I think the goal maybe clouds stuff a little bit in terms of my other performances. I think when I look at my performances this season, I'm really honest when I review them, and I think they've been of a good level. I think the difference is that they probably don't make the headlines because of the goals and things, which I understand. I set a high expectation from last year, and I have a expectation to score goals, but I think even so far this season when I haven't, I've still managed to perform at a high level in games. And the game the other day was good. The position was a bit more fluid than I've played in sometimes this season. I'm certainly not a wide player, I think that's clear. I play my best football when I'm free to roam, and especially in the middle of the pitch, and long may it continue.
Hola Youth, hola, ¿qué tal? Olivier Lorenzo del País. Has jugado en diferentes posiciones.
You've played in a few different roles this season, different places on the field, positions.
How
have you experienced that, and how are you settling into this new Real Madrid since the arrival of Kylian Mbappé? How have you seen things yourself during this settling-in period for the new players?
Yeah, it's been like any kind of adaptation to a team. Players have left, great players have joined, and it changes the dynamic slightly of how maybe we want to play or the formations we'll be playing, and the positions of certain players. I've always shown that I can play in multiple positions because of my skill set, and I'm happy to sacrifice for the team. It's scary because I see him every day in training and I know he's only going to get better. In terms of him coming, I don't think that's been the reason why I've changed positions. Like you said, we've had a lot of injuries as well, and things you got to adapt to in a game and in a club and in a team.
Jude, it kind of follows on from the chat about yourself at the moment, because obviously after the game against Ireland, you put out that you'd got your smile back in an England shirt and you're very grateful. When and why did you lose that smile, and was it purely at international level or was it to do with club form as well?
No. I think, like I said, when I've reviewed the games, I felt like my form has been okay. Well, pretty good, to be honest. I just haven't been scoring goals, and that's not the reason why. I've got to be honest. I think I lost my smile a lot after the Euros when it came to playing for England because of, I don't know. I felt like I was a little bit mistreated in comparison to what I contributed. I felt like some of it was a bit harsh on me. I think I felt a bit like the scapegoat. Maybe I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself, and I think that camp with a lot of new faces really brought out the joy in my game again. I think you could see that in the 2 games, but in general, I hadn't lost my smile in the Madrid shirt. Obviously, I'm annoyed when we lose, and I get frustrated and I get upset when we lose, but it's never a case of not being happy. You know, I'm the luckiest lad in the world. I get to play week in, week out for the biggest club in the world and represent my country. So, yeah, I think that was more to do with a little bit of how I was treated on the back of the Euros. But, yeah, smile is back.
Hola, Jude. Soy Rubén Cañizares de ABC. Yo quería preguntarte por un compañero tuyo en la selección y creo que por un amigo, que es por Trent Alexander-Arnold. ¿Te gustaría jugar con él a su lado la próxima temporada? ¿Habláis de esto entre vosotros?
Well, I'll be playing alongside him next season for England anyway, hopefully. So that will be a guarantee. But, you know, he's a Liverpool player, and I think it's disrespectful, especially to come to his home today and speak with the huge game tomorrow, to speak something that could be misconstrued or anything like that. So I think it's important to take that kind of pressure off him, and obviously he's a really good mate of mine, and I want him to do really well normally, obviously not tomorrow night, but we'll see what happens. But like I said, he's a Liverpool player.
Hey you, how are you? Joel Del Rio from Marca. I'm going to try in English if you want it.
Oh yeah, nice.
I would like to know if you are the most important thing of the team is the adaptability. We have seen Valverde playing as a midfielder, also as a winger the last game. You can play also in many positions, but I just want to know if you are really happy in that position, because the last 4 games, 2 with the national teams and 2 with Real Madrid, it seems like you are happier now than ever. So I just want to know if you have talked with Carlo Ancelotti about that.
Amazing English, my friend. I think, I speak with Ancelotti every day. You know, I have a good relationship with the coach. Like I said, I've filled in positions to make sacrifices just like other players have. I think it's highlighted a bit more because, like I said, I've not scored as many goals. But I think you look at my all-round contribution in other positions, I feel like I can still affect games. But I know where I'm most effective. I think I've relayed that to the coach. But also, just like Fede, just like Kama, Aurelien, we're a team of many players with a broad skill set, you know, where we're quite complete. And so when it's necessary at times, we have to fill in positions because that's what our squad does. And, you know, the injuries don't help. But I definitely know where I'm most comfortable on the pitch. And also it's my responsibility the way that I interpret a position as well. I think if I'm put into a certain position, it's my responsibility to try and maximise it as well as I can and not let that be an excuse for me. Whatever the coach asks me, I'll do it, and I'll try and do it to my best of my ability.
Jude, just to follow up on the smile back on your face question, you said you felt like you were maybe a scapegoat for the Euros. Could you maybe expand on what exactly you felt? Was that the media putting pressure on you, or what was it?
For me, pressure's not a problem. I understand that playing for Real Madrid, the expectations are going to be high for me wherever I go, even if it's with the national team. And you know, I felt like I contributed some pretty big moments, and in the end, it felt like the kind of whole world was kind of crumbling down on me after the Euro, especially after the 3 days following the final. And you know, it wasn't a nice feeling. There was a few things that happened during the tournament. I think one of the big criticisms of me was that I didn't speak to the media. I didn't want to do any press conferences, and I think that was reported in a way that made it sound like I think I'm above it. It's not that at all. I had some personal things going on where journalists had gone to go and see members of my family whilst I was at the tournament. Went to visit my grandparents, you know, and it's something I've kept to myself. And you know, I don't think that's fair. I think that crosses the line of respect. You know, I think that's where, for me, I took it a little bit personally and decided that I'll just focus on the football and try and let that do the talking instead of talking in the press to people that seemingly don't respect me. You know, that was a big thing for me. You know, I think my family comes first. My nan didn't want to leave her house for the whole summer, bless her. So I think maybe I should have communicated that before so people understood my situation, but that was a little bit more personal to me, and that's why I decided not to, just to keep my mouth shut.
Hola, Jude. Ahora sí, Darío Araujo para Caliente TV. Lamentablemente ayer nos enteramos de la lesión de Vini y sabemos también que eres uno de sus mejores amigos dentro del vestuario. No sé cómo está él, cómo está el grupo y también cuánto importante va a ser Vinícius estos días que no va a estar. Gracias.
I've said it before, I think Vinny's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. So when you get so used to having a player of that presence and that magnitude on the field, of course it's a big hit when he's not there. But like I said, I have full faith in the other players that we've got who can step up in those positions. Obviously, I get on with him really well. He was a little bit upset that he couldn't travel and contribute to the team like he has done so many on so many big nights for us. But it's our responsibility now as players to each take more responsibility and step up in his absence.
Jude, aquí José Padilla, defensa central. Hace un tiempo se habló aquí en esta rueda de prensa que quizá Bellingham podía fichar por el Liverpool. Quería preguntarte qué hay de cierto y qué te llevó a fichar por el Real Madrid.
Yeah, I think it probably wasn't as close as a lot of the media made out. You know, I had conversations with a few clubs on leaving Borussia Dortmund. I made that decision. Then they gave me permission to speak to a few clubs. And, you know, one thing I have to say is all the clubs that I spoke to were very respectful of me and my family, which for me is a huge value and something that I really respected. So I don't want to say anything that sounds disrespectful to them. But, you know, when Real Madrid come knocking on the door, you know, it shakes the whole house, and it's one that you can't, it's hard not to open and accept. So I think, like I've said before, it's not a fact, it's not a matter of the other teams weren't good or they were bad when I spoke to them. It's just that Real Madrid are on a different level.
Hola Jude, ¿qué tal? Juanma Sánchez de Radio Nacional. Enhorabuena por el premio que te han dado del mejor jugador de la liga pasada, la AFE. El año pasado marcaste con el Real Madrid 23 goles en toda la temporada, este año llevas 2. Has dicho que no es lo más importante y Ancelotti también ha contado que este año, como está Mbappé, pues ya no te pide que marques tantos goles. ¿Qué es lo que te pide este año el mister Ancelotti en tu trabajo? Gracias.
Yeah, thank you very much for the first bit. Yeah, like you said, I think I arrived last summer. The club lost arguably one of the greatest goal scorers of the generation in Karim Benzema, and I think there was an approach to try and help recover those goals in a different kind of way. You know, we signed me, Joselu, Brahim, and I think collectively kind of covered that hole. And this year, you know, we've signed one of the best players of this generation, you know, and he's someone that's obviously scored an amazing amount of goals. So as a team, we expect him to do that. And for me, I know that my role then differs, which I'm happy to do. You know, I'm a team player. But yeah, I also want to take that responsibility of now I've got the smell for it again in these last couple of games. I want to take that responsibility again as well. And, you know, it's always nice to contribute with goals as well as playing well. And as for Ancelotti, you know, he's a big impact on the whole dressing room. I think his calmness, his a chilled demeanour, it kind of radiates around the changing room, and that's why on nights like this we come in and we're very relaxed regardless of what's going on around us.
We're going to do 2 last questions for Jude. Dos últimas preguntas.
Hola Jude, aquí izquierda. Abraham Romero del Mundo, ¿qué tal? Has hablado de las críticas en Inglaterra después de la Eurocopa, de los momentos sin marcar en el Madrid. A eso se suma también el tercer puesto en el Ballon de Oro y el segundo de Vini, que no sé si dentro del vestuario ha gustado más o menos. No sé si todo eso, la suma de todas las cosas, te hacen tener un nuevo reto y un nuevo desafío en este momento de la temporada, como de dar un puño en la mesa otra vez, a pesar de haber ganado Liga y Champions. Como que el mundo del fútbol os reta de nuevo.
Is it a new challenge, the fact that, you know, Madrid got second and third place, and even though they won?
I think you know, when we won the Champions League, that was our Ballon d'Or. You know, that's the highest thing you can win as a club. That's for us, the team being recognised as the best team in the world, us being the team to beat in Europe, if you like. And for me, that's probably enough. You know, I don't think too much into the Ballon d'Or stuff. You know, there was a lot of talk about it. Me personally, I think it should have went to someone of Madrid. Particularly Vinny. In my opinion, I don't think Rodri's an unworthy winner at all. I think he's an amazing player. I just felt because of the season we had as a team that it was it would have been reasonable. But yeah, what was the first bit again? Sorry, where you said about criticism or something like that. Yeah. Oh, about the new challenge. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I was talking too much. I lost me mind. Yeah, criticism is part of the game, and I know how to accept it. But when it feels personal, it gives you, like you said, it does give you a bit of a new challenge to continue to shut people up. I think it's something that I've dealt with since I was very young, coming into the first team at Birmingham when people aren't quite sure you're ready. Yeah, you take those little things and you try and use it as motivation. But like I said, it's not something that, you know, I'm really worried about and things like that. I understand it's part of the game.
Última pregunta, last question.
Hola Jude, ¿qué tal? Miguel Ángel Toribio en directo para Radio Marca. En los últimos dos partidos, contra Osasuna y Leganés, hemos visto un equipo mucho más solidario, sin dejar tanto espacio entre líneas, más comprometido. Te quería preguntar por qué esa diferencia con respecto a otros partidos. Si piensas que habéis experimentado un cambio en la actitud.
I think when you go through a tough moment as a team in football, I think it forces you to have those honest conversations about what you're not doing well enough. And I think one of our problems, maybe we weren't doing the foundational things as well as we possibly could. And I think in these last two games, what I've really been impressed by as a team is that attention to detail of the small things, you know, and we'll always have players that can win us games and things like that. But I think that attention to detail and having the right attitude with and without the ball is what's really taken us to that next level in these two games. And yeah, it'll be important to show tomorrow night as well. They're a huge team, obviously a massive game, and you know it's the bare minimum, I think, for us to show our fans here at Anfield that we can put on a right face and we can get a result.
Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Thank you very much, mate. In there.
We begin now the press conference with the coach. Please remember to identify yourself, and it's one question per journalist. Comenzamos ahora con el entrenador. Recuerden, hacemos una pregunta por intervención y antes de identificarse con su nombre y el del medio.
Hola, mister. Victorio Calero en directo para Real Madrid Televisión. Mañana se enfrentan el Real Madrid y el Liverpool, o lo que es lo mismo, 21 Champions, 21 Copas de Europa sobre el césped. ¿Cuáles cree usted que son las claves para este partido? Gracias.
Bueno, un partido que va a ser un partido muy entretenido, como siempre ha sido Real Madrid y Liverpool, dos clubes históricos de esta competición. Cada uno tiene sus características de equipo. A ver qué tiene
Vinícius run in the last few minutes of the game. How is it? He's injured. Got injured towards the end of the game.
No es que es tan importante cuando se ha lesionado Vinícius, lo importante es que se ha lesionado. Lo importante es que recupere pronto y pensar en los jugadores que lo van a reemplazar.
Hola, ¿qué tal, mister? Javier Raez de la cadena SER. Se ha hablado de por qué Mbappé jugó menos, Vinícius jugó todo el partido. ¿Son cosas del fútbol o al final cuando vienen de jugar un partido con Brasil o con otra selección es mejor rotarlos un poco antes? ¿Qué piensa usted?
Yo pienso que oigo muchos consejos. Creo que no hay que olvidarse que he hecho 1.300 partidos, he hecho 1.300 alineaciones, he hecho casi 4.000 cambios. Y creo que nadie aquí me puede dar consejos en este sentido.
Andrés.
¿Qué tal, mister? Andrés Rubio, de Televisión Española. Yo quería preguntarle, que nos dijo en varias ocasiones que a usted nada le quitaba el sueño, estando como está el equipo en este momento de la temporada, con un calendario tan exigente, con tantas lesiones, preguntarle cómo está Carlo Ancelotti.
Yo estoy bien, como está bien el equipo. Creo que los últimos dos partidos han salido muy bien. Creo que hemos encontrado un buen nivel de juego, somos más sólidos, tenemos buenas sensaciones y tenemos la misma confianza de siempre también para este partido contra un rival que es muy exigente, que está jugando muy bien, pero tenemos la confianza, la considero una gran oportunidad para nosotros, para volver a nuestro mejor nivel. Y tengo confianza total que va a ser un gran partido. Y después, pase lo que pase, pero el equipo va a ser competitivo mañana, por cierto.
¿Qué tal? Sergio Horas para el Desmarque. El otro día en Leganés jugó Valverde de lateral, lo hizo bien. Usted en rueda de prensa dijo que después de Lucas y de Carvajal era el mejor lateral del mundo, pero está Lucas en la convocatoria. No sé si va a darle continuidad a Valverde o va a probar con Lucas o qué piensa hacer con esto.
La verdad es que Valverde lo ha hecho muy bien, yo no tenía ninguna duda. Pero era una emergencia en el partido porque no tenía laterales, ha vuelto Lucas. Ha mostrado una buena condición en el entrenamiento de ayer. Hoy tendrá un otro entrenamiento. Es una opción. La posibilidad de elegir cuando en vez en el partido contra Alavés no la tenía.
We didn't have that chance to play either of them against Alaves.
Michael Grand, Liverpool Community Radio. We're about halfway through this new league phase in the Champions League, and there was a lot of talk before the season about how it affects teams and team selection. Obviously, games like this. One of the big changes in terms of having a game like this early in the season. I just want to know if your opinions have changed on the league format and how you feel it's been took in for your side, but also the club side as well.
Well, I think we have to wait a little bit because it's a new competition. You change it. This phase of group is a little bit different to the other. So. Talking about the game of tomorrow, I think it still be a fantastic game, important game. We have to make points. This is the truth. We have to be able in this 4 games that until the end of this phase, we have to try to reach the more possible points to be in a good position at the table. I don't know if we are able to reach the first 8. It could be good, but we lost 2 games, and so we'll not. Be easy, but we have to try to make points.
Carlo, good to see you back on Merseyside.
Thank you.
Obviously, a lot of the talk around Merseyside.
Can you name and media outlet?
Oh, sorry, Vinny from Sky Sports. But a lot of the talk around Merseyside has been of the future of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Are you able to tell us how concrete the interest is in Trent from Real Madrid? And aside from that, you said to me before the Champions League final in Paris, tomorrow is a derby. Is that again how you feel about this game? And if so, why do you still feel that way?
I'm sorry, but I cannot think about Alexander-Arnold. He's not my player. But I have a good memory of Everton, of course, but I consider Liverpool, as usual, with a lot of respect. It's a fantastic club, fantastic supporters. And so, but I'm still an Evertonian.
Atrás, behind, right there.
Hola, Carlos, buenas tardes. Miguel Ángel Díaz de la cadena COPE. Le he notado molesto por esa respuesta que ha dado antes. Y igual que hace...
No, molesto, no.
Igual que hace unos meses dijo que sus futbolistas deben ser a veces responsables y que cuando están cansados deben levantar la mano. No lo digo solo por lo de Vinícius, pero quería preguntarle si cuando un jugador a lo mejor siente alguna molestia, lo mejor es que pida el cambio y que no intente seguir jugando el partido.
De momento el jugador es muy profesional, muy
I think
serio.
nowadays players are very professional.
Renovar,
They know if
espiar
something's not right.
lesiones para
They can
intentar
give
de
the
jugar.
staff
Los
a
jugadores que han
guide
visto
as to
del
whether
equipo
they feel fit
nacional
enough to play.
lo hemos valorado,
We're talking
evaluado
about
en los
really
días
valued
antes.
professional player.
Hemos tenido un
We
día más
check
para
on
recuperar
players
porque hemos jugado domingo.
to check their fitness levels,
Vinícius
if they're ready to
como
play on
Valverde me
the
parecía
Sunday.
en
We
buen
knew
estado, en buena
that
condición.
Valverde and Vinícius were both fit to play, and that's it.
A veces pasa que el jugador se lesiona.
Sometimes players can get injured during games, even when you've prepared and know that they were fit to start off.
Lo sabemos todo, el porqué.
We all know why.
Porque hay demasiados partidos.
Because there are too many games.
Hi, Carlo.
That's why.
Stuart here, TalkSport International. Liverpool and Real Madrid have met many times in the Champions League over the last 2 years, including a couple of finals, but Liverpool haven't been able to win any of those games. Obviously, they're two teams you're expecting to be in the latter stages, but do you think a win in this game can influence it if perhaps you do see each other in the later stages again this season?
I think it's an important game. That every victory gives to you more confidence and more belief in the future, of course. Liverpool he did really well until now, better than us in the domestic competition. But now we are back and we hope to play a good game tomorrow with a strong rival. But for the future, it's too far. The end of the season is too far. And hopefully, we hope to be there, as usual.
Hola, Carlos, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas. Fernando Burgos, Onda Cero. Has dicho que no sabéis muchas veces por qué se lesionan los jugadores. En 3 meses el Madrid lleva 11 lesiones musculares. Ayer dijo Vini el loco calendario. ¿Hay más que el loco calendario en que tu equipo en 3 meses haya tenido 11 lesiones musculares?
Sí, también hemos tenido 7 cruzados.
I think that, we have had muscular injuries,
¿Cómo se puede hacer para
cruciate
evitar esto?
injuries
Es
as
un
well.
poco complicado pensarlo. Creo que
It's a bit of a complicated thing to try and
difícil,
think
no
about.
es un problema de Real Madrid, es un problema
It's
general.
not just a
Hay
problem
muchos
for Real
equipos,
Madrid,
también
it's a general
en
problem throughout
España,
football. Other
también
teams
en
in Spain,
Inglaterra,
in
que
England,
tienen un montón de lesiones.
they've got a high amount of injuries.
Entonces creo que cada uno a su
think
manera
every
maneja estas
person
cosas con distintas
deals with
cosas,
these situations
distinta
the best they
metodología,
can,
pero
different
lo que no cambia son las
methodologies,
lesiones.
different
Entonces
ways of dealing with
tenemos
them. We just
tenemos
have to
que aguantar con esto.
put up with it and make do with the situation, you know.
Y pensar, nosotros, intentar de pensar
Think
como el año pasado.
like we did last year.
Las lesiones han sido una gran oportunidad para ser
This is a
mejores.
great opportunity for us to
Creo que no es un
keep being one of
caso
the
que
best
las
teams.
lesiones
don't
contemporáneas de Militao, de Lucas Vázquez, de
the
Rodrigo
latest
en el partido
injuries of Lucas
con
Vázquez,
Osasuna han
Militao,
cambiado un poco la dinámica de
and
este
the others.
equipo.
I think
No es una
it's
casualidad.
changed the dynamic of the team. I don't think it's
Hello,
a
Carlo.
coincidence, the fact that
Kian
we've gone on
Sobani from
form with all
Managing
these
Madrid.
people out.
You had said a few weeks ago that you had found a solution to the team's problems. And obviously in the last 2 games, the team has looked much better. And Courtois and Lunin haven't had to face a shot on goal. So you've been able to limit the transition opportunities. Jude earlier was saying that it's the attention to details that have made a difference. So I'm curious to know what you think those attention to details are. Is it a matter the team had more control? And is that something you can replicate against a better team tomorrow?
I think the difference was that we were able in the last 2 games to play with more compact together, with a collective effort, sacrifice, and that was, I think, the key. It will be the key tomorrow and also in the last games, the next games.
2 last questions. Últimas 2 preguntas.
A Carlo, aquí, Daniel Caidano para Bernabéu Digital. Yo le quería preguntar por Raúl Asencio, porque le vimos muy bien contra
Asencio,
Leganés de nuevo.
in the defence, I think he did well against
la
Leganés.
Champions, la mejor competición de
Is he up
Europa,
to the Champions League, the biggest
en un campo también muy
competition
difícil, muy
in
complicado?
Europe,
¿Cómo le
in
ve de
a ground
cara a
like
este
this, which is
partido?
really tough to come to? How do you
Todo
think
bien, veo un jugador
be in this game?
maduro, con
I see him
personalidad.
very
que no
mature
se-
player, he's got
no lo veo
character,
demasiado
personality.
nervioso,
I don't
siempre
see
muy
him
bien
nervous at all.
focalizado,
He's
lo
always
ha
like
hecho
focused on
muy
the
bien
game.
en los
He's done well,
últimos
as you
2
say, in the
partidos.
last 2 games.
Estoy cierto que lo va a hacer bien también mañana.
I'm sure he's going to have a good performance tomorrow. I think he'll perform.
Hi, Carlo. William from Liverpool Wales. You mentioned you're still an Evertonian. The club have had a few problems since you left a few years ago. Did you envisage what would happen at Everton, and how much do you hope for the future of the club to take over?
I follow Of course, I follow Everton, what happened with the club, with the result. But call me tomorrow after the game, and I will talk to you about this.
Thank you.